Okay, we're going to be recording this so that I can post it out to anyone who is not able to be with us today, or so that you have this for future reference. So as you can see my screen, hopefully everyone can see that we are on the ASABE website. This is really, I think, the best way to start with Engage. You see we've got some of the new branding going on. We've got our new logo up here, and some of the colors have been changed. They're still working on that. It's a very long process because there are so many different coding areas that have to be addressed. But I've already logged into the website for my account. And then if you look at the top here, this used to be forums, and now it is our link to Engage. You can also go directly to the Engage site, engage.asabe.org, if you like. You'd have to log in again there. So if you log in at the website itself and just click over, you're automatically logged in. So a couple of things that I just want to point out, because I'm an administrator on this page. This strip up here, you're not going to see. That's just for my administrative navigation. And there will be a few other things that I have access to that you don't. But for the most part, I think we'll be able to do just fine. So on your first visit to Engage, you will come up to the Terms and Conditions page. That's going to come up immediately, and you need to scroll down and accept the terms and conditions before moving on. I just pulled this up so you can see it is always there at the top in your menu. There are other items up here as well, such as the Contact Us. Click on that, and that takes you to the headquarters for ASABE if you have any questions. And support, again, takes you back to the headquarters. Someone will respond to you there. If you click on this ASABE or just ASABE Home, that opens up the website again for you in a new window. We have some FAQs, facts or frequently asked questions, and there's just a whole list of them that we came up with early on. So you might want to scroll through some of those if you have any questions that you can't figure out. And then this last one up here is fairly new. This is open ballots, and we have to set this up manually every week. And our IT administrator does this for us. She goes through, and the committees are listed alphabetically. We have the ballot name over here. So this is what's being balloted. This is the committee name, and they are alphabetically listed by the committee itself. So if you have a specific committee, this being PRS, scroll all the way down to the bottom, you see there is nothing open for PRS. But you can always jump in here, scroll on down, and look. This tells you what date the ballot was opened and what date the ballot is closed. And as I stated, she updates this every week, usually on a Sunday evening. So if we were to scroll up to this here, it's a review of 10-625, which is an ISO ballot for MS 2361. That just closed out yesterday. So it's still listed here through the end of the week. So if I posted a ballot today, it's not going to show up until next week. But that's just one of the restrictions we have, because our old website linked with forums nicely so that your ballots came right up on your home page. We can't do that with this system. So this is our workaround. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Now we're going to go down to the main menu here, and I just selected home. So your home button will take you right to your home page, which again is our welcome page. It's just a general landing page. We have some a greeting from Darren and some other items here. So this unanswered questions, the way the Engage platform works is when an email is posted, it's considered a question. So it's just posted right up here. So you really don't need to worry about that too much. It's just what was posted in the last hour or so. What I do want to point out to you, though, are some of our quick links here. These are all going to be helpful, and some of them are actually duplicated at the top here. If this is your first visit or an early visit and you're struggling with how to move around Engage and what to do, what I would really suggest you do is go to the video tutorials. If you click on that, it opens up our YouTube playlist. And in that YouTube playlist, we start at the top with how to set up your account. We talk about communications, which are going to be emails that you receive and that you send, how to respond to emails and some options there. We're going to go through all of this, how to use the library, how to build your network of members that you're connecting with. If you are a non-voter, some comment template options, how to get your comments uploaded when you're responding to a ballot, setting up an event, setting up a repeating event, and then a 10-minute, 11-minute ditty on just the whole overview very quickly. So this is always available to you on the homepage. You just click on that. You can start at the top. They just run right into each other, or you just pick whichever one you like or that you need to refer to. And I do this oftentimes, especially when I'm getting an email from someone who says, I started writing an email, but I saved it and now it's gone. We're going to deal with that one in a minute. But I go back and I find my communication options. I send them the link and I tell them which point to start watching at to answer their question. It's a lot easier. And these are all videos that I've done working around the website itself, the Engage site. So when we talk about building the network, that's similar to connect. So that is how to reach out to other people. And both those links will take you to the same place. So here you see I have a list of people that I've already been connected with. They've reached out to me or I've reached out to them. And at the top, they give you some recommended connections, similar to Facebook, where they say, you know, these people might want to be your friends. So this is really the same thing. Here, Joanne McEwen, our executive assistant, is listed here. So all I need to do is put in the request to her. She's just been sent an email saying Jean Walsh would like to connect with you. She needs to be logged into Engage, and then she can just accept that connection, and then that would populate in my list below. And you see, I've used one of those suggestions, and others have popped up to do that. Now, I was asked by someone, why do you want these connections? What good is this? Well, this is a way to connect with people who are in your similar committees, in your communities, or maybe someone that you have met at AIM. You might have sat down at a table with them for one of the luncheons and you remember their name, you had a great conversation, and you might like to continue that conversation or maybe have another one with them. Just an easy way to look people up. So I'm going to go back to home. So again, build my network and connect, both going to the same place. For Explore, let's see where this one goes. This goes to your suggested communities. Same place that committees and communities go to. In this case, because I'm an administrator, I have every committee listed here. Some of these will show which ones I am a member of. And if you are on this page, it will show all of the committees that you are currently a member of. We're working on something that will show all of our members, all of the list, just as I see it here. It's quite an extensive list. But I did want to point out a few things. So this is a brand new group that we just put together, agrivoltaics, which have to do with solar panels on agricultural land, so that not only are you reaping the benefit of the solar panels creating energy, but you also have the land that you can do some planting on around those solar panels, and then repurposing the land back to agriculture after a period of time. And we actually just set this one up yesterday. This is what we call a self-join committee, which means it's not any committee that ASABE staff is managing. It's a committee that is set up simply for the members to join themselves and have a conversation around that topic. So if any of you were interested in this topic, all you would need to do would be to go to the join button. When you go to the join button, you are asked how you would like to receive your email. And you need to make that selection. Don't include me in emails or include me in emails. Include me in daily digests or whatever. Discussion notifications. And real time is the notification status that you would receive an email as soon as it's sent out. Daily digest means that you'll get the posts from the previous day all together. Or you can opt out of receiving any email notifications and just jump into that committee whenever you have time. So you get to choose how you receive your emails and when you receive your emails. Then you can join the community. In this case, I don't really choose to join, so we'll leave it at that. But there are probably a half a dozen of these self-join committees currently available to all members, and you will see that on your list. I don't know if I don't have that many that are showing up right now on mine, again, because my list is so extensive. So I'm going to go back to home. So then we go to see what this Engage is all about. So these are all of the, well, not all, but a good portion, and we can select how many we want to see per page. A portion of the emails that have been sent out from all different committees. And because I'm an administrator, I see all of these. You most likely will see communications from the committees that you are on. So I can't verify that because I see everything, but my guess is because you are limited to the committees that you are listed on, those are the ones that you will see. So if you go on there, you can see what the topic is and you can jump on and respond to any of these, or even start a new one yourself. And again, this goes out as an email to whatever committee that you are posting to. Going back to home. So the ask a question would be that Engage section. Connect is build my network. Let's look at complete my profile. Now this is really important in that, just as I pointed out, when you self-select one of those self-join committees, you get to select how you want to receive your emails. And that's something that we want to point out to everyone. You can access your profile by clicking on your home page to set up your profile, or let me go back here. Complete my profile through the quick link, or you can go up to the top. If you haven't already put a picture in representing you, you'll see just a little gray silhouette at the top. So in my case, I have my picture, so I click on that, and that lets me go right to my profile. Goes right to that same space we just were at. In here, you get to include any of your social media links, your education history, job history, professional associations, honors, awards, whatever you'd like, and to give a little bit of bio information. Again, this is whatever you are most comfortable with. Being that I'm a staff member, I didn't feel it was necessary to put my job history and all that sort of thing because it's extremely varied and it really doesn't have anything to do with ASABE or my career here now. So we looked at my connections already. So here I can look at the people I'm connected with. We saw this page. Let me go back. And if you wanted to look at my communities, that again is my entire list, who I'm following. If I have selected anyone, which I don't think I have at this point, then that would show up. So if we were to look at my contributions, this has to do with everything that I am doing. So my summary, not quite sure what this is, we'll find out. I've been a busy beaver. So I have points for my contributions. As you can see, I've posted a lot of discussion posts. Those are emails that I have sent as a staff member. But then I have almost as many library entries, because oftentimes when I'm sending out an email, I am posting something to the library as well. I had never looked at this, so this is pretty interesting. So you can check that out yourself. Now we have these little engagement and contribution points and reputation points. And those are all linked with badges and things, which I don't think ASABE has enabled yet, but that might be something that shows just how active a person you are engaging with others. Kind of an interesting concept. What I want to go down to is my list of contributions. This is really important because everything that you touch in Engage is going to be listed here in my contributions. If you send an email, it will be listed here. If you post something to the library, it will be listed here in any of your committees. If you respond to an email that has been sent through Engage, it will be listed here in my contributions. Now, remember when I said I get emails from people who say, I've started an email, I went to save it, it disappeared, I don't know where it is. This is something very important that I need to point out to you. If you've lost an email, this is where you're going to find it. And we're going to go in and I will show you how to do that, but it will be in my contributions in your profile. Very, very important to remember that one. We will come back. Going along the my account tab, I want you to go into your privacy settings when you have time. And that way you can look at all of your information that is posted here and decide who is going to see it. I put my picture as public. I only want members to see my network or my company information. My job title could be public. Let's see, I don't have my phone number up there, but like my bio, I don't need to have anyone but myself see that, for example. Same with my mobile number, should that be pulled over from our database. So the information that populates Engage comes from our general member database. And there's a lot of information that you put in there with your job title, your organization. Sometimes you put in your personal cell phone number, sometimes it's a work cell phone. Sometimes you put your personal address, etc. So these are things that you need to go in and make sure that you have set that up the way you feel most comfortable. Moving down, we have just some general participation email preferences. And you can't take the system emails off, but for community emails, etc., if you don't want them, you just click them off. So you just opt out of all emails. But better yet, I want you to go down to community notifications under my account. This will list all of your committees. And as you see here, there are options for how do you want to receive your emails. If you look at it real time, again, when the email is sent, you would get it. Daily digest means that the next day you get all the emails that were sent through that one community in the day, or you can have no email. In this case, this is a committee that I had to work with as an administrator, but I really don't have any interest in what they're doing, so I have selected no email there. I am active on the AETC presentation sharing, so I'd like to get the emails when something happens there. Same with Planning Committee. This one, AIM 2023 Local Planning Committee, I'm listed here because I had to set that up for a group. This was one of those special committees, but I don't need to know what they were doing. They were planning for our AIM. So you could scroll down, and I want you to look carefully at all of your committees to see what you're receiving your emails on and what you aren't. Sometimes when you are transferred into these, the default is no email. So if there's a committee that you haven't heard from, it could be that the email was set to no email. And if there's a committee listed there that you want to go into just on your own terms, certainly go ahead and set it as no email. Then just remember to check it occasionally. Or you can select weekly digest, which means you'll get all the emails dumped once a week and you'll be able to parse through them. What I would highly recommend is if you are on a committee that has any balloting for standards or anything else that you know is coming up, make sure you have it set to real time. When there's a ballot notice, sometimes that is very time sensitive. Some ballots might only be a week or 2 weeks, especially if you're voting for an officer or something along those lines. So again, you go into my profile, my account, community notifications, and then go right down the list and decide what you're going to receive for your email. If you choose your weekly consolidated community digest, you can also check which day you want to receive those emails notifications on for the big dump. At the bottom of this list is your discussion signature. So when you send an email out, to have it automatically signed, this is these are the variables or options that you get to put in here. You can select what you would like in there, and so that will just pull from your database information. And so this is what I have in mind. And then you just hit save, and that's what comes out when you send an email. My inbox is going to be the emails that you have received, so I get them from lots of people. And admin is just me as an admin. So do we have any questions so far? If you do, just kind of speak up, please. Okay, nothing so far. So we've addressed the committees. We've talked about going into your profile, etc. Let's go to, let's see. I always have to do this. I'm going to do 703. I have to do the search because it just takes too long to get anywhere else in this process because of my list. So I'm going to go into the community for PRS 703. And actually, let me try PRS 701. I want to try and find one that has some balloting going on, or we might have had some balloting. Okay, this is a good one. All right. So we're going to try 701 as our sample, so to speak. So if you go into the committee homepage, what we've tried to set up on all the committee homepages, and because different administrators have different responsibilities, sometimes we get a little bit behind. So not all of these are totally updated, but we're really working on that. So what you should see is the committee email right here at the top, very first thing. If you wanted to send an email to your committee, for example, 701, I'm going to open up my email here. So here is an email I'm using from Outlook. You can come in here, copy this, put it right there, and this email will go directly to everyone on your committee. So you can put it in your own personal email to send an email out, or you can go to threads and start a new thread. Does the exact same thing. It will send an email out to that entire committee. So it's an open-ended discussion. Remember when we looked at the first page and it said questions, unanswered questions? The system sees every email as a question because it is based on just community interaction and questions and discussions. We use it a little differently as notifications, but that's what it means. So you can put in your discussion subject. I'm going to put test in here. And I'm going to make this a test email for the presentation. All right. Now here my signature will automatically go in because the system knows who I am. When you are setting up your email in the system like this, you are able to save your draft or schedule it to go out at a different time. Let's say I want to schedule this to go out tomorrow. And I want to pick the time, so you click on the little clock. And let's see, I want it to go out at 1:30 p.m. That would be my time, which is Eastern. So I've selected that, and I'm going to schedule it to go out at that time. My email is now gone. Does anyone know where we're going to find that email? No takers?
Jean, you earlier mentioned somewhere this will be stored, right?
I did.
But,
do you remember where? Okay. Now we're going to go find that email. All right, everyone with me now? This is really, really, really important. That's why I'm doing this for you. This is really, really important. If you had a draft and you hit save on that draft, it will go away just like that. And it's not listed here, as you can see. I'm going to go up to my picture, which will take me to my profile. All right. Does anyone know where I'm going now?
Yeah, my contributions, right?
Exactly. My contributions, my list of contributions, because everything you touch is right there. There it is.
Okay.
Okay. I click on it. It opens up again, just as I left it. It's already still scheduled. So it tells me when I last saved it. And if I thought, well, you know, maybe I want it to go out the next day, it tells me when it's scheduled. I can go in and change that. Or I can delete it completely, which in this case, that's what I'm going to do. Okay.
So that means it is a logging in all the activities, right? So we can go back and edit. Yep.
Right in my contributions.
Yep.
Everything you touch, because you see posted by Jean Walsh, posted by Jean Walsh, posted by Jean Walsh.
Yep.
These are all emails I've sent out in the course of my work, you know, for ballots or whatever. But that is probably one of the most important steps I want everyone to understand. So, any questions on that? We're going to have a test. We already did and they got the pass it. So
barely passed. Yeah.
But you did it. You did it. And if you forget, that's okay. Here's those YouTubes.
Yeah.
If you go to communication options at 3.06 is where I give directions on how to do that. It's in the communication options. So you have your backup. Or you can just send me an email and I will send you a link to that and tell you to go to 3.06. Can't tell I've done this a few times. That was one of the first things that tripped us up, though, as staff, when I remember Scott had started a draft email. And when we were testing all of this, we had a test committee and all this, and he hit save and it disappeared and he panicked and we had to figure out what to do. So that is one of the key things that I make sure everyone knows. So we touched on threads, and oh, another thing I want to do in threads before we go back. If you see any of these emails, let me just click on this one. So this is the one I sent out reminding people that we were going to have this. If you wanted to reply, there are two options. Okay, I have more options because I'm an administrator, but you will see reply, which goes to everyone, or you can choose reply privately. If you choose reply privately using this platform, it will send only me an email, the person that you sent. So when we had the old forums, you had to forward that on to someone and find their email, or you replied to everyone, and sometimes that caused some problems. Now just go back in and think that you can reply privately. And if you were to reply to, for example, this email, if I sent an email out and you hit reply for that one, check to see who you're sending it to. Because if you're sending it to the entire community, this is what will come up. If you wanted only to send it to the sender, to me, for example, delete that and put my email in there. So I'm going to close that, and let's go back to Community Home. All right, so we talked about the email address that you can use either through the platform or through your own email service, and that's right here. Up at the top, we also have the officers of the committee as well as their terms of office. And that is because when you go to the member tab, let's do 72 per page. So that'll show us everyone on this committee. But if you notice, it does not tell us who the chair is. It has no designation. It doesn't tell you who staff is, nothing. And that was really concerning to us because if someone wanted to communicate with their chair, they didn't know who it was, especially if they were new to the community and didn't know the players, basically. So here we have our chair, our vice chair, and our secretary listed, so you can go into members, and in members, let's look for Eric. So Eric will be closer to the end because of his last name. These are all alphabetical. So there's Eric. He's still a little silhouette there. So if I wanted to email Eric about something or request a contact, you see I hover over there, I can send him a message, and this will set up an email to him. Okay, send him a message here. Or if I wanted to make him a contact, just as we started our network of contacting people, I just would send him a contact request. And then he has the option to respond to that. So what I've encouraged people is on your committees, it's good if you can start connecting with them, because then you can have conversations on various topics, and it's much easier to find them because you just have to look at your contact list. So again, going back to the top of the page, one of the questions that came up to us at AIM this year was, how do we know what responsibilities we have as officers? And some of the officers wanted us to go into every single community or committee and list what committees the chair sits on, what committees the vice chair sits on, and that's just way too much work for staff to do. And every set of bylaws is slightly different because the members wrote the bylaws and set it up the way they wanted. So basically what we did was tell you that your officer responsibilities and other commitments, you're to refer to your committee bylaws, and they're located in the Engage library. And we will look at that in a moment. Also on this page, we have a link to National Standards Development. So I'm going to open that in a new tab. That takes you to our website. And this gives you a lot of information on how to develop your standards and who to contact if you want to contact a specific person. It tells you what responsibilities we have, so you know who you're contacting. And this link We've talked about leadership resources. Takes you to a page that has a lot of information. We've got some training online, some videos you can watch, resources, and then links to other information that's easy for you to grab. So we have tried to put those links on each of our committee pages, so it's easier for the officers to grab that information and have access to it. Also on this main page, you're going to find the most recent email that was sent out to this committee right at the top, and so on as you move down. And then you can have more by selecting this. It takes you to the threads page that we were at before, and you do have the opportunity to look at even a greater number of emails for your committee. And you can see who posted those emails as well, how many replies they had, and if they had any attachments to them. Any questions so far? All right. So you see this announcement space here. Featured post, this was our welcome email. We wanted to keep that up for a while in case people needed to go and look at that. But if you have an announcement that you want, I know PRS, I believe every year at AIM has a kind of a group community meeting. And some of the other committees or communities also do that. So possibly in June, you might want to get together with other chairs in PRS and come up with a statement that you post here saying, heads up, we've got our community meeting on Tuesday, July 16th at 10 o'clock, room to be announced. Be sure to put it on your schedule. And that stays static right there on the page until you take it off. So when people come to this page, they'll see that at every time. So I think that is a really good feature there. This one I can unpin quite easily, and then we won't have a featured post unless I wanted to put, for example, maybe our next PRS presentation up here as a featured post so people see that. We might be getting to that point to take this welcome off since we've been doing this for almost a year now. So let's go to the library. Now remember on the notice at the top, it said that your bylaws are found in the library. So here's your library. And we have set up some standard folders. One thing the library, the structure of the library can only be adjusted, I guess you could say, by a staff member. So if you see over here, this is something that I have as an administrator. So I can click on that, and that lets me set up additional folders for you. So we put in folders for any projects or committee information. So let me pull this one down. We have meetings under here. So we have information from AIM 2022 and AIM 2023 located here. If you pull this down, your bylaws are right there. If you click on them, you can download them. And that goes into your download. And here you go, open them up, and those are your bylaws. That's available to everyone. Everyone should be able to download anything that's in the library. Anything that is placed as an attachment to any email that goes to this committee is automatically placed in this main folder. So I'm going to click on that to see what is in this main folder. Hopefully, there we go. So in this main folder is the announcement for this meeting right here. So what I can do is I can edit this because it's in the main folder and I would like to put it someplace else. So I'm going to hit next. And I'm not sure if this is where you're going to be able to do it or not. You might have like a modify. But this happened in 2023. So I'm going to click that, which changes the folder. I hit finish. And then back to the library. So we look, the main folder no longer has this document in it. It's listed here because these are all the items that are in all of the folders. But if I go here and into this, there you see it now has been moved. So they're really fairly easy, at least for me to move. You should be able to go in and sort the documents yourself, though. If you can't, please let me know, because we're under the impression that you should be able to. I have to set up folders if you would like to have additional folders in here. So if you are the chair or officer in any committee, or you would like to add something special on any topic to any committee, and you need a folder to sort that information into, just drop me a line. It takes, seconds just to go into the committee library and set up a folder. So please don't hesitate to ask us to do that. I wish you could do this yourself, but unfortunately, the program does not allow it. Any questions on this? So oftentimes, well, we've been trying to figure out how to do these library things as efficiently as possible. So when we send an email out, let's say there was a ballot and we put the results of the ballot in an email. What we will do is we will go into the workspace where the ballot took place, actually, and they have their own library called Documents, and we'll get into this, but we will upload the ballot results here, and then we will send you an email that gives you a link to the ballot results. You're always going to have to log into Engage in order to access any attachments or links. But that way, I think it's much easier, because if we were to just attach them to the library or to the email, it just goes into that main folder. It still has to be sorted. So what we as staff decided to do was sort it right from the start, put it in the correct folder. So for example, for minutes to the 2023 meeting, I'm not sure if they're in there yet. They are. So I've already gone in. DeAndre posted them, and I went in and I moved them down into that. So if I had the minutes to post, I would just stick it right in there and send you a link to that folder, to that document in the folder for you to download. So it's just like a new way of doing things, but I just wanted to let you know that's how we're trying to do them. Questions there? Okay, moving along. So events, this is a kind of cool thing. Excuse me. This tab allows anyone on the committee to set up an event. So let's go in there. So I'm going to set up a test event. And in your view, you'll be able to choose a committee meeting or a repeating meeting. Everything else you see in there, we've already disabled because it's just too confusing. We don't need all of this stuff. But a committee meeting or a repeating meeting, meaning we can set it to happen every month, every week, every day, however we want to choose to do that. In this case, let's set up a committee meeting. And this is for this community. We want to display the event until the end date, and we're going to then hide it after that. And I'm going to put what our meeting is about here. Now, if, for example, this event has to do, let's say, with an outside symposium that I would like people to know about, I can go and grab the URL from that website and put it in here so people can then go and check out a third-party website if they wish. I can select an image and upload that if I wish. I'm going to have the start date as today, and the end date, we'll put the end date as tomorrow. And this is going to be a long, well, actually, let's do the start date and end date at the same time. It's going to start at 9 and we will end at 10. So it'll be a 1 hour. Okay, there you go. We get to go in and choose the time zone. As I stated, I'm in Eastern time, but anyone setting this up can set this for their own time zone. So let's say we're going to set it for Central Time. How are people going to attend the event? They're going to be online. In this case, we're going to do a conference call, select our country, United States. And then for this one, let me pull up some information here. So I'm just going to grab the information from our call today. Move this over. If you're going to set up something like this, you would set up your video call for whatever service you use. So here's our meeting ID and our passcode for today's meeting here. And then here's where I would put my URL for the Zoom call. Then what I would do is just hit insert my contact information and my phone number. And then it says invite all community members when saved. And if I select yes, then that goes out to everyone. If I hit save, that is going to post this event on that main page, and it will have an iCalendar link that you can put it in your calendar. It doesn't give you the URL information. It will block out the time in your calendar, and then it'll take you back here to log in, back to the Engage site. So that's a little tricky, but what you can do then is copy that same information. I'm not going to save this because I don't want it posting on the site, but you can connect that same information to a regular email, as I did here, put it in the email and sent that out as well, so that people can have the time blocked out in their calendar from the event notification they get. Then they can go in here, and I like to just kind of copy this information and slap it into my calendar. So that is easy to just go to my calendar and grab that and log in. Again, this one doesn't have any events, but easy to create and very useful, because that will show up on your main page right here. It'll show up right in this area once you create it until it goes away. Any questions on events? Let me see if I can find one. I think there's one on NRES 07. I'm going to just jump over there real quick and we'll come back.
Jill, quick question.
Yes.
Do we need to do we need to add this this invite manually to our calendar, or is there an option for us so that we click on it and it saves in our calendar?
Well, let's look at this event right here, okay, Jaya? So this is on NRES 07. So I'm going to click on the event. And you see here it says download to your calendar. So you will have gotten a link to this. So you can download that to your calendar. So here's that event download there. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to click on that. And here it is. Okay. So I can save this to my calendar, but I wanted to point out, see where it says view event? It gives you the link to the Engage site. It's not giving you the URL for the Zoom call.
Zoom call.
So that's where I would go into the event. So here we go. Here's what I want to save. Here's the Zoom call. So I'm going to copy that. Before I save it, I'm going to, let's see if I can do this. It's not saving there. I'd probably save it first and then go back in and put it in there. Let me see if I can do that. There's the Zoom call. Okay, I would try to save it somewhere. Anyway, then I would just go save it to my calendar.
Outlook.
Okay.
Got it.
But what it will do is, again, it will take you back to this site where you get your information, and then you can log in from there. That's kind of that's why I would say create a separate email and use that. But again, you can set up meetings and notify people, and then they're right there if they go to the website, to the Engage site. So let's go back here to 701 to finish up because we're coming up on the top of our hour. Now, for any committee that has a ballot of any sort, if it's a ballot to elect new officers, if it's a ballot for a project, it's going to be in Workspace. So you have to envision Engage is one platform and Workspace is something that is sitting on top of that. So while it is connected, it's totally separate. So in the Workspace, their documents, which is the library, is totally separate. What we put in Workspace is not found in your library. What's in your library is not in Workspace. We're trying to reserve Workspace for all of your ballot information. So any ballot documents that are needed, we put them up here, where some of you are familiar with comment templates, ballot summaries, the consensus body, PPFs, etc. So we had the ballot, we put the results up here. And you notice the date is different, it's a month different. The roster is the list of people in that committee. And in this case, it tells you if you're a voting member or if you're a non-voting member, which would be observing. It also will mention if you are staff or if you are an officer, the past chair or secretary or vice chair. It will make that note here. Now, as you can see, we don't have companies listed or unknown companies. And a lot of that is simply because our database just had a lot of trouble integrating with this Workspace. So it was much easier not to put that in there. If you need to find out people's work connections, you just need to go into the member tab. Totally separate from Workspace. Workspace is the best we can do for the balloting issue. So in the ballots, remember we had the open ballots link. Those would take you directly into any open ballots that you have. In this case, we don't have any open, but you can go into closed ballots. You can read the ballot. You can find out how people voted, any commenting, and you can download any documents that were posted to the ballot. And basically, that is Engage in a nutshell. We're coming up on the top of the hour, but I do have time for questions. If people would like to stay on, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I attended the PRS 701 meeting last ASABE, and I want to be more active on that committee, but I didn't see my name that I am a member of committee of PRS 701. So
Okay.
what could have happened?
Well, I was probably not told that you wanted to be a member.
Oh, okay.
So that is the next thing. We want to make sure you're sure you're not a member. You sure you're not listed there?
Yeah, because I'm actually on Engage, and I only see 702, and then the PRS for the program committee, the general program, PRS 06, cancer section, and I see where I belong, basically.
Okay, well then I will get you added on. It's a little bit of a process, but I will get you added on. I can put you on as an observing member at this point.
Yeah, okay. Because
That's okay?
because they were discussing about the last time also, like whether we, I don't know, maybe there are some a lot of problems last time.
Right,
So
right.
you know,
So in order to become a voting member, then at the next meeting, you just ask to be approved as a voting member.
okay, I think it
Okay.
was not approved that time.
Okay.
That's what, yeah.
All right. No, I'm
Okay.
happy to add you. Was that your only question?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, I
Thank
will
you.
get you on there, Marvin.
Just Marvin, I want to add, say, attending the meeting, that is one of the activities, but you want to be more active means you can say, look into the possibility of developing some new standards where you will be more engaged and that will be useful to you. Attending the meeting, you cannot able to take anything out of it.
Yeah,
That can be added to your CV. but
Yeah,
say
during
developing standard is good. Yes.
yeah, during that time when I attended the PRS, I was actually saying that I want to be not to be an observing member. I want to be a member. But I
Okay.
think the issue was that there was not a quorum. That's what they're
Ah,
saying. So
okay.
that's why they cannot add us, and then a lot of people actually left that meeting. It was a chaos actually. So
That's why we're doing this. We're trying to get rid of the chaos. Okay, well, I will get you on, but Agathi is very right. And as even an observing member, the only thing you cannot do is vote on a project at this point, but that doesn't mean that you can't comment on a project, talk about a project, ask questions about a project,
okay.
initiate a project. So, start working on those connections, building those connections, and seeing what other people are doing. So always good opportunities.
Okay, thank you.
So let me just kind of throw something out there too. One of the issues, again, especially with observing members, let's just take an example of there's a ballot, go to the workspace. Let's say we have this ballot on thermal properties of grain and grain products, and you, Marvin, are an observing member, but you have a question or you downloaded the information because you can do that, and you saw something that you wanted to ask a question about. So if you ask the question here in this workspace, no one's going to see it. So what I want to tell you to do is go to the threads, start a new thread, and ask your question there, because this email will go to everyone on the committee, and you will raise the awareness that there is now a ballot and there's someone with a question, and start the discussion on something that you saw in that draft that maybe you didn't understand, or you think maybe there's an error here. Can someone please explain this formula to me? Whatever. That gets the discussion going and engages the rest of the committee on that. So if you are an observing member, or even a voting member, I should say, and you have a question, rather than keeping it in the workspace, because I said that area is very limited, bring it out to the full committee and ask that question while the ballot is open. All right, let's get those discussions going. That's the beauty of this Engage program, is it's designed around asking the question and starting discussions. And if you are starting this thread and or someone has started a thread that you're not interested in, you can go and kind of take yourself off that thread so you're not getting those emails again, if it's not something you're interested in. But sending it out to everyone on the committee is the ideal way to start getting those discussions and to raise the awareness that there's a ballot. We need to do something about this as a committee.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so as we had discussed kind of at the beginning, the question of how to take a standard or a project, shall we say, from beginning idea all the way to publication. Do we want that to be our next topic? How to develop a standard and what's involved in that?
Yeah, I like that.
Anyone else have any other suggestions?
I think we should, that will be good to talk about that. That will be that's very important actually.
Yes.
It's very important to know the process.
That's our thing. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will look forward to some dates in October or November, because I still have to plan like a full everyone training. And we'll see what we can get on the books, and hopefully we'll start getting some more people. So if you talk to anyone or you want to post maybe a comment, email out to the rest of your committees saying, hey, where were you? that would be helpful. The whole point of doing this is to help build up the PRS community. So, you know, as the members, I would appreciate that maybe they might listen to you more than they would listen to me. So let's have a bigger group next time. And thank you everyone for taking the time today to sit in on this. And I will be sending out this video as soon as I get this all processed and set up.
Thanks, Jean. This is very
Thanks, Jean,
informative. Thank you. Very
Thanks, Jean,
informative.
for providing this training to us.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. And if you have any questions at any time, I'm just an email away.
Yep.
Nice
Thank
job,
you.
Jean.
Thank you.
Okay.
Excellent.
Have a great
Thanks
one.
for
Yeah.
thanks for organizing this. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.